FF Real podcast, where we pick a movie and we rant and review it, always keeping it 100% real. We're your hosts, Edgar.
And I'm Jayla, and today we want to invite you into our conversation on the film The Book of Clarence. And a little synopsis before we begin, so spoilers going forward. The synopsis reads, a down on his luck man struggles to find a better life for his family while fighting to free himself of debt. Captivated by the power and glory of the rising Messiah, he risks everything to carve out his own path to a divine life, ultimately discovering that the redemptive power of belief may be his only way out. Edgar, how'd you like this movie? If you like this movie.
I liked it just fine. I think it was a very, very, very actually good, decent movie. Um, yeah, I mean, we'll talk about it more, but I pretty much really like this movie. How about you? Did you like this movie?
I did like this movie. I thought it was fun when it wanted to be, and then like really sad when it needed to be. I felt like it did the right amount of both, but I was straight up like the last time I read a Bible, I didn't have full consciousness yet, so like I'm appreciating it for the story. I do not know at all how biblically accurate the events are. I'm guessing like not a lot, but like it's still for a good movie. And honestly, call me sacrilegious, but I believe this more than I remember. If it's not historically accurate, I don't care. This is my new historically accurate Jesus lore. That's how I feel about it. No, but before we even start with the actual movie, I want to say the director for this movie also did actually my favorite movie, The Harder They Fall. And it's interesting because like now that he has two films, this is his second film, like his directorial day. Well, technically it's not his second film. He did like a first film that was like the pre-version of The Harder They Fall last time I checked, but that doesn't really, I think it's like a remake. I don't really count that one. This being his second film, I love how you can see he has more. Because I
No,
remember,
but it wasn't.
oh,
It wasn't a film. The like prequel. It was just a screenplay that he wrote. I'm
oh,
pretty
so it
sure.
wasn't
Yeah,
made. I thought.
yeah. It
Well, that's
wasn't
the okay. That's fair.
I don't think it was.
Can you remind me of his name? Was it Samuel? Or
Who
am I thinking of someone
is
else?
who? The director?
Yeah,
Who? Oh, is his name is the Bullets.
I forgot he named himself, but
Yeah,
like, what's his?
that's the name. Oh, James Samuel.
Thank you. What James Samuel, who yes, they call him the Blitz, but I'm gonna use his name. No, yeah, I loved The Harder They Fall. Still love it, and it's cool to see like what his directing style is becoming because like every director has like something about his or their film that makes it uniquely
Mm-hmm.
theirs. And for him, I'm starting to see like it's the camera movement and like how he well, in my opinion, because this is what I've seen. It's There's certain things about the camera movement that are strictly him. Like I haven't seen it used in a similar way. One of them is like how he splits the screen up in different parts of the film and like shows individual characters head on. I don't know if you remember The Harder They Fall, but they do that like during intense scenes. It was like one of them was the standoff between Buffalo Bill and Cherokee. Buffalo Bill, Cherokee Bill, and listen, it's my favorite movie, but it's been a while. But they do like the split screen where you can see all the key characters on frame, and then in the middle you have like the main guy's reaction. And in this movie, they do the same thing where it's Clarence, and he's in the shot, and he's telling people that he's the Messiah, and you see everybody's reactions. It was like a really cool parallel to the first film. And then another one, I just want to say because it was, I saw it, I'm like, wait a minute, wait a damn minute. In The Harder They Fall, when the big bad, who is played by who plays Knuckles? What's his name? Idris Elba. Who's played by Idris Elba, when they're in this bar, it's like this old Western style bar. There's a bunch of dancers, but there's specifically this blue dancer who we follow the camera up to. And like after she moves out of the way, like dancing, you see the big bad. And the same thing happened here. Like the blue dancer appeared again. How many years before the other, like the harder they fall? And that's like so cool. Like I get when directors have like this stylistic choice of like having a certain shape of the film match other films that they've done, but when they have a reoccurring character throughout decades, obviously this is like a fiction, like it's a fiction-esque story of both of these stories, which are based on historical people, which is another thing. Historical people, historically black figures, actually. But like having that character, that blue dancer, just appear again in this film kind of threw me for it. Was like, this is a cinematic universe now. He's planted this character in both
Mhm.
universes. That was it was creepy, but I liked it. And that's just some of the things about this director that I really I'm coming to enjoy. Can't wait for the third.
Mhm.
My little rant.
And I mean, it's also keeping up the tradition of directors like to work with the same actors, and we see that here for sure.
Yeah.
There's a few overlapping, which I'm not mad at. I think this movie had a very good cast. Besides one person, I think everyone else was very well casted, and yeah, it was perfection.
Who? Spill the
Mhm.
beans.
What do you think?
Who?
No, why are you trying to expose me? What do you think of the cast?
I thought it was great. One person. I thought the cast was great. I loved, like I said, what's his name? I keep forgetting his name. RJ's RJ? RJ. Yeah, RJ. I keep wanting to say CJ.
Yes, R.J.
RJ
Seiler.
Siler. Yeah, I loved him in The Harder They Fall. He was my favorite character. Spoilers in case. And when he died, like I watched it with him and I tried not to spoil, but like when his death was coming up, I physically I remember you looking at me and you're like, damn, well I know what's gonna happen. I'm like, damn, I didn't want to reveal it, but like that was literally my favorite character in the whole film. And when he died, a little part of me died, and I was just so happy to see him back in another film. But this time he was like the goofy kind of like lackey, and he was really cute. And yeah, I like him as an actor, and
He's
also
always the lackey.
he is.
Well,
Let this man be a main role, please.
and he was kind of goofy in that movie too.
He was.
He was kind of goofy in The Harder They Fall too. So I'm not sure
You
what.
think he's being typecasted? That's
Yeah, he
tragic.
is the same typecasted. Yeah,
Hopefully not.
it works.
It does work. He's really good at being like the lovable side character. You know, you just can't help but love him. And then obviously Lakeith Stanfield. In this time, he's playing. Well, actually, in The Harder They Fall, he was also kind of like this. No, he was more serious. He was more.
Lackey.
He was a lackey, but like he was also this like he was this gunslinger. He was the big bad. I forget what his name was in the film, but he was also this character that was kind of like mischievous and causing. Not exactly, because he was more serious, so never mind. They were actually enemies in that last film. Now that I remember it, they were like direct enemies, Lakeith and RC. Or no, wait, RJ. JR? RJ. They were enemies in that film, and now they're like best buds in this film. I love that for them. And they both died in the last film. I mean, remember this, so yeah.
Mm.
But yeah,
Now you're like, oh, you came for this movie, but here's the thing on this other movie.
I
This
have
person died. This person died. This person died.
listen. I
Shade.
was gonna say I recommend.
Ugh.
I should have recommended it before I spoiled it. I still recommend it. Listen, that does not spoil the movie for me. It's funny. It has the same director, so it has the same style. So if you like this film, I think you'll like The Harder They Fall.
Mm-hmm.
But you were talking about actors.
One that took me.
Oh,
Hmm?
I was just gonna say one more thing about
No, go ahead.
actors. I don't know who you're talking about, but the fact when Professor X came on screen, I was like, there's no way Professor X would never. He would never. The mutants were basically like the Black Panther party. Like, I can't. I was, well, he was technically like Martin Luther
That's
King.
insane. That is not the role that I go to when I think of that actor.
Really,
What's his name? James McCovey. No,
McAvoy?
it goes
Who?
into like the Split universe. Split. I feel
Oh, I never
like
saw
his face
those.
is like engraved in that because I just think he looked like so different because he was so young. Like when it was like X-Men. I don't know. There's something
Mm,
about it, but like my head goes to Split, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, but he's
right.
a great, very, very good actor.
Hmm.
Hmm?
He has
Yeah,
like a
he
thick.
can play them roles.
He has this thick Scottish, or is it I don't know. He has this thick accent, and I'm always
Accent?
impressed. He does. He has this really thick accent. Um, one of
Oh, in real life.
Scottish in real life, yes, and just props because I couldn't tell.
Some European.
It's somewhere up there in the
Yeah,
Europes.
because I mean, in Split, he did a great job in Split, and that was like that's a hard ass movie in my opinion. Like imagine,
Really.
but he his acting range. I'm at damn because you're acting like all these different people in one movie.
Mm-hmm.
His range is as an actor is amazing, which as you should if you're a good actor.
Right.
Like that's what it means.
He's pretty goaded.
Another a casting that shocked me. This is not the person I was talking about though, but I was like, oh, it was Caleb McLaughlin. If that's
Oh,
how you
he's
pronounce
so
it.
much older than I remember. I was so confused.
Well, no, yeah, I was like, damn, that was the whole beard. But I remember, like, that means literally our age, like
Yeah.
our exact age. So it's like,
Since
oh,
when?
that tracks. But
No.
since he was born, though,
No,
what
no, 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 no. Because I
do you
remember, like,
mean?
I never got into Stranger Things, but, like, I
Yeah,
always remembered.
but keep in mind, we were young as heck too. We were tiny too when that happened. Yeah, when did Stranger Things come out? Let
I,
me see real quick. 2016.
so he was our, he's, oh yeah, he's 2000.
We were literally like middle
I'm older
schoolers. We
than
were middle
him.
schoolers.
You're older than him.
Barely. Barely.
That's, damn.
We were born like barely. We're literally
Just like
back to
a
back
couple
months.
months. Yeah. That's insane, though.
Well, a couple for you.
A couple for you. He's October.
Yeah. This one for me, a couple for you.
Just two for
What's
me.
the
What are you
difference?
talking about?
Yeah, that's a couple.
Mm,
Don't even know that couple for me. Anyways.
mm.
Um no, yeah, he was our age, but it because when you see someone as a child actor and they're like grown as well, you're like, that's a baby face underneath that though, like
Yeah.
which doesn't make sense because I was also like baby when I first saw him
So
too. So I don't. It's
it
weird
is.
because we were literally middle schoolers, like
I guess, yeah.
when that came out. Yeah, so
But yeah,
middle
it's the
schoolers.
beard. I think so. Middle schooler going into high
We were
school.
straight into high. Yeah, we were like barely in high school.
Hmm. Um, Another actor, Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange. Um, that was, so I didn't know it was him when I first saw him, like on screen when like the literally first shot in the movie. It was
Yeah,
him. I'm like,
yeah, for sure.
who's
Yeah.
this man in blackface? Why does it feel familiar? I was like, what's going on? And then
Mhm.
I didn't notice until like the second time we saw him and he glared at the camera. I'm like, wait a minute. I know that glare somewhere. And then I'm like, is that Benedict Cumberbatch? It was.
I didn't clock it until like he got full out of makeup, but I was like, I saw them like blue eyes, and I was like, that's a white
That's
man,
so
ain't it? J Lo. So this is the person who I was talking about. I do not agree with
Oh,
that casting at
as
all.
Jesus? Mm.
Well, in general, I don't think this was the movie for him to be in, based on his history. So you hired this man in this black ass movie and put that man in blackface. Like it would have been fine any other actor,
It
but
wasn't
you really chose him.
high key. What did he do?
It's what do you
I'm
mean?
not
You
caught up
don't
on
know the
the
team?
not on him. Who?
It's not Marvel. It's not. It doesn't have to technically do with Marvel. It's just him and his family and history.
Really?
Yes, it was like y'all really casted that man to for this movie and then put him. No, I was like, oh,
Y'all
no.
go
I was
tell me
like,
the tea in the comments because I have no idea what that's about. I didn't think he
let me
was like
see. Wait, let me Google the T because I don't even remember all of it. I just know that I was like,
because it's not.
I
Are you
he should not be in this
are you
movie.
mixing your Marvel white men? Are you thinking of
No, I am not. I
okay?
am not. I am not mixing my Marvel white man. Let's see.
So I know a different Marvel white man who
Let me see if I could find the T. Uh, it was something relating to like a house, I think.
oh
Like his family, like did like some fuck shit or like like killed or hired to kill or something like that. Like a bunch of black people, somewhere
well.
among those lines.
I saw what you're
And
talking about.
you googled it,
Yo,
and wait, what is it? Because I cannot exactly
just look
remember.
up.
Call it out.
Just look up Benedict Cumberbatch controversy.
Just say. Uh,
And this is to y'all too. I
Controversial. Say it. Let's speak about it. I don't know why you're dodging it.
listen.
Brought it up.
There's
Let's speak
there's
about it.
being fucking for real, and there's getting canceled, and
Benedict.
I'm not.
How are we getting
It's just
canceled?
about like messing with Marvel people. I just don't want to.
Anyways, Berlin
Oh,
comment that whoever. So apparently, so their house, the family home, it has something to do with like basically black people, enslaved people. They worked at the plantation. And I don't know. I'm not gonna look it up, but or I'm not gonna read more into it because I can't because we're doing this. But
mm-hmm.
some fuck shit, and the family is very guilty and very fucked, and there was a whole thing. It was like a whole thing,
I'm just seeing that like
and it was literally so his mother. Because I mean, I'm not blaming him because it wasn't him necessarily, and whatever, but just knowing like that was a controversy and like the history, I found it a little like off-putting, especially since like something I remember is like his mother like told him to change his last name when he was becoming an actor just because of that, so they couldn't like trace it back or something like that, or it wouldn't be like as blatant.
damn,
Like I remember like that whole being like a whole thing. It was like, okay, so y'all clearly know what y'all did.
damn.
um So yeah, I mean, clearly, like not necessarily like nothing on him as an actor. It was just a weird choice, like for him in this movie for that role.
Mm.
So, I would have won with literally anyone else. Not saying that he shouldn't be cast and stuff. Like I'll
Yeah,
watch his next Marvel movie, but not for this movie.
you'll watch his next Marvel movie.
I would.
Listen, I switching to Marvel real quick. For some reason, I like the movies he's like guest starred in. I do not like his movies.
But not his movies. I agree.
And it's so weird.
Well, in general, they're just better, but that's not the topic.
You're right. You're right.
It's nothing. It is literally like it, I don't know who's coming up with these movies. I don't know,
Yes,
but
that's yeah. You're right. Yeah, yeah.
they be not holding up to like they're not all on the same
They
wavelength.
are not.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Anyways, now to the movie. We talked about the cast. Any other casting choices you'd like to talk
I
about? I'd
do.
like to shout out Chase DeLeon real quick.
Who?
That little boy.
Oh,
Chase DeLeon. He was like the little kid that was like, "You never grow." It was like I think he did such a good job in that movie. I remember him from what was it? What's it called? A Haunted Mansion. If you haven't seen a Haunted
Oh,
Mansion, the latest one, that movie was the key, and I recommend that movie
really?
because it was fun. It was just fun. Oh wait, they're both in it. I told you Lakeith
Oh
is in it
yeah,
too.
he is. I forgot about
He's the
that.
main character. Yeah, so
I haven't seen it, but
it is a good movie.
oh,
It was fun,
also black
and
cast.
he also did a good job in that
I
movie.
think right. It was
He
mainly
also,
black cast.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Let's talk about
mostly.
the women in this film. There's two women that
Mm-hmm.
comes to mind. Tiana Taylor and Anna Diop. First of all,
Anna Taylor, as she should.
as Mary,
Mm-hmm.
Queen coming, and I'll get into
I
this.
got confused with that.
Really?
I got very
You thought it
confused
was
because
the
like we know like
mom?
the tea like the story. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
wait,
Me too, kind
but
of.
then it made sense. Like, but like at first I was like, wait, Mary?
He's like,
That's Mary? I mean, Hail Mary, but damn. It's
honestly, she's like
unexpected. I'm like,
50 in
is she
real
the
life,
mama?
right? How old is she?
Tiana Taylor?
That's a lie.
She's
That's a,
33 though.
I'm thinking
Ooh,
of
in Black
wait,
History Month.
wait,
We're
wait,
still in
wait,
Black
wait.
History Month.
We're the
No,
last day of
fucking
Black
way.
History. Listen,
You
when this
said
comes
black
out,
don't crack except for her.
it's gonna be past Black History Month, so
Come
you
on,
can't even.
Poppy.
It's gonna be Women's History Month. But listen, we'll get there when we get there.
Nah, you said black don't crack
I was thinking of a
unless you're
different
Tiana
actor.
Taylor.
No, because she looks good. See, yo, get off me, get off me. I was thinking
Mm.
of what's her name? She's a model who also acts sometimes. I can't remember who's 50.
No, you're confusing your black people on Black
Listen, I'm confusing my light
History
skinned black
Month.
people if I'm being 100% honest. Listen.
Girl,
That's
she
besides the
light
point.
skinned. She is not light skinned. Well, a little
She's
bit.
pretty light skinned.
She's in between light skin and brown skin.
She's got abs.
She's light
Oh
skinned
my
with,
god.
you know what? Nah, she light skinned. You're right.
Yo, you see her abs?
Abs, as she
She
should.
go, she go, Mary, yeah. No, her as Mary, I thought it was really fun. Just like starting off the
Mm-hmm.
film, really, like, yeah. And then Anna Diop is literally, I think she's like one of the most beautiful people.
Who?
She played Clarence's love interest in the film.
What you call her? You said Adia?
He said Diop.
Oh, Diop. Okay, I thought you said Adia. I'm like, who the heck's
Not
Adia?
a Diop.
But yeah, I remember her from the Titans.
Was she?
Um, yeah, she was in the Titans, the live action
Oh.
Teen
She was
Titans,
in Us.
basically from CW.
She was in Jordan
Us.
Peele's Us.
Oh shit!
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow! Oh, I didn't recognize that.
Nah, but she's like literally. Is she a model? Yep, she is a model. I don't
She's
know. She was
pretty.
really pretty, and like as like a salon, I don't know. I found it like really funny, the salon universe in there. Actually, when we get into like the actual plot, I'll talk about it. But yeah, just shout out to those two too. And then lastly,
Mm-hmm.
Judas. Who played Judas? I don't remember who played Judas. Wait, I should look up who played Judas.
See.
Michael Ward.
So the person that played Judas
It's
was
Michael, right?
wasn't he the bald headed one?
Yes, I girl, when he first appeared on screen, it just reminded me of all the Tyler Perry villains in his universes. The bald black man. I just like, there's no way. Of course, he's the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's bald and he's black. Like, girl,
And he's cute too. That was,
he's got a nice
yeah,
face.
like damn.
He's got a good looking face.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he just falls into the category of Jordan Peele. I mean, not Jordan Peele, Tyler Perry villains, which I thought was hilarious.
Are you confusing your black men in Black
Because
History? See, you be
I
doing
just,
that.
I be doing that. Nah, roll the replay. Roll the replay on these last couple films, on these last couple rants.
They white, not black.
No, they were black. These last couple, mm.
Ooh. Mm.
They'll roll the replay. We'll show it on Black History Month too. Anyways, no, I thought of Jordan Peele because I just talked about Us. I have a reason. Okay.
Mm.
Anyways, that was my rant for the actors. I like the choices. I did not know about Doctor Strange. Crazy. But am I surprised?
How do you knowing that? How do you feel about that? Because everything was perfect. Like, and I don't even care about like technically like the
No, that was a joke.
blackface
That
or
was a joke because he was
but
just
yeah,
dirty.
for
He was
sure.
literally just dirty.
Yeah. So it was like I don't care. It's just the actor show. It just didn't. I was like, ugh,
In like a black
y'all
film.
really.
But
There's so many Caucasian men out there that y'all could have casted,
if we think
and
about
no,
it,
like I'm not saying.
I was
Hmm?
gonna say, but if we think about it, at the end of the film, he got killed. Like he finally got riches, and then he got murked. Like they saw him, they're like, that man's too happy. We're
You
gonna
should.
kill him. So did it kind of even out? I don't know. All
No.
right.
Is it not? No. Stop the BS. No. I
Did it? Let me know.
it no.
Let me
It did not.
know. I
Comment down
just
below.
think it's funny.
If wait, if you're on YouTube, comment down below. If you're listening from a podcast
Go
website,
to
go to
YouTube
Instagram
or Instagram.
or YouTube and then comment down below and be like, yo, this is what I thought,
Let's
you know?
because okay, let's lay out the facts, right? His and what I saw, right, was that there's like history of his family working in plantations and people wanting reparations for it. That's what I've seen.
His family,
Not his ancestors. His ancestors. That's his family. Ancestors are family. Don't you just did
they're
not
working on plantation.
listen? They worked.
You were that all wrong.
What do you mean? They worked. Listen, I meant worked. Whatever I said.
They
Worked.
made people work. They ain't work nothing.
Yes. And people, the descendants
I get,
want
yeah, it's
reparations.
still Black History Month at the time of this
Girl,
recording. Just
everyone
keep
knew
that
what
in
I
mind.
meant. Go off though. They made people work on the plantations and they want reparations, right? So unfair labor, wanting reparations for it. Now, him in the film, listen, it's not real life. Obviously, it's not real life. We real life reparations need to happen. But him in the
Like, oh
film,
yeah, he got paid. They did him in the film, even though he still got that shot.
he didn't get to use it. He
But they
got
killed him off
what? He got a makeover and then perished.
in the real life.
Well,
In real
in
life, he
real
still got
life,
that shag. We're talking about the actor. He
listen,
still got
I'm just
paid
at
for this black project. I was
not a
I'm not
lot.
saying that he shouldn't be casted.
He was a cameo, even though he was
He
Jesus.
probably got paid more than half the black people in that film.
That's a big statement. I'm
Hmm.
not gonna comment on it.
I'm saying
No comment.
probably. Anyway,
No
I'm just
comment.
saying because he's a big actor. I'm not saying, and
He is a big
I'm not
actor.
sitting here saying, oh, he should never get casted again. Blah blah blah. Fuck what he did. No, for this film though, let's be a little conscious. That's all.
You
Like,
think he looked like Jesus though?
no.
White
I mean,
Jesus?
like he has such like a face as like
Which is weird because I would have never had the
he got
vision.
the body type because he's like lanky and like like he would like
He's
I'm not saying
lanky.
like when he was on a cross I'm like you know what yes but like his face threw me completely off. Like,
It did. When he was painting him at the end, like as he was on the cross, I'm like, oh, that's Jesus. That's white Jesus. But I just think it's funny how at the end of it, they got a white man to go on the cross instead of a black man. I liked that. I liked that. I thought it was clever.
instead
Instead of like the
both
actual
of them were hung
Jesus.
up.
No, Clarence got
Yeah,
hung up, yeah, but not the actual Jesus. That's why we think of white man Jesus today. I like that. But
they were stealing our history even then.
listen,
He took credit.
listen, he got killed instead of a black man.
Anyway, no, it's funny. This is going into plot territory, which is going to
Good
switch it
segue.
over.
Yeah.
But I think that remember that scene when he came out like because he was all dirty. Which okay, that part did not make sense because they were cleaning him up, and like how did they not know? Because they were cleaning him up. Did they just like do like the first like ooh, and they were like okay, you do it. Like is that how it worked? Because that did not make. too
It's
much
like
sense.
the spa
But I
reveal.
did like the reaction.
Mm.
But it was like the whole thing, like, oh, he was white. It was like that whole reaction, like all them ladies, like, oh my god, he's so pure and white.
It
Oh
was fun.
Jesus! I was like, y'all be simping. Is that how y'all act, Jayla?
Of who? Benedict Cumberbatch? Never in my life. Who to Jesus Christ?
White man, you see a white man like, ooh.
Never in my life have I ever had the thought about Benedict Cumberbatch nor Jesus. I would like to make that very clear. And when he walked out, they were like, "Oh, it's Jesus." He's like, "How do you know? You never seen him." She's like, "I could just tell. It's his glow." Like, girl. And like that also didn't make sense because like remember how at the beginning or maybe it was the middle of the film someone was like, "Oh, news gets around in Jerusalem." So they know that the Romans are trying to prosecute a Messiah, and then they go around saying, "Oh, this is the Messiah." They put that man to death. They literally set him up. Like the minute he walked out of the salon, he was like they're trifling for that, but also it's kind of funny. That's crazy. I'd
Anyways,
cry.
okay, let's start. Let's start
Plot
from
territory.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we get introduced to these people as a race. They were like horse racing, but like physically in the horse racing.
Mm-hmm.
And Mary was fucking these men up.
Mm-hmm.
But they got set up by that little kid who technically wasn't a little kid. I don't know how that worked out, but
Cabbage.
they got like they started getting shot at and stuff. They were in the hood for real.
They were.
They were getting shot at and hit, and then they got robbed.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, all them little kids went
Got
and killed
jumped.
that guy. Like just took everything. That didn't make sense to me. They took everything but his shoes. You know, the shoes are the
The
fastest to go.
shoes are
That
yeah.
was
Maybe it
so
didn't fit. They were
unrealistic. Like,
kids. I don't.
well, they still take. They would still take that. They
You
would
right.
take the shoes. Like that's something that always
Listen,
happens. If you get robbed, your shoes are
you're
gone.
applying hood
Okay.
rules of 2024 to hood rules
Mhm.
of 33 AD.
Mm. They you saying they didn't want them Jesus sandals, the
Listen,
J's, the original J.
and it allowed him to walk on water at the end. It just, it all comes together. But as you were talking, that I broke this down too, and this reminds me of how I used to learn history because I was never good at history in like high school. I could never remember because my memory is just really, really bad. Like ask anybody, my memory is so bad. What I used to do is I used to make events make more sense in terms of like how do I say this without getting canceled? I used to hoodify events, right? I used to make it like the most simplest terms in the most easy. So like for this, what I wrote was okay. Bet these two hustlers basically. Have you ever seen Friday, the movie Friday?
I don't know.
Girl, not on Black History Month. Oh
Man. Oh, that
no.
one. No.
Yes. Oh no. Listen,
You.
don't get on him. He knows not what he's
I've
done.
seen clips.
Not the
Girl, I'm
clips.
not from here. I wasn't
Girl,
even born
it's
with
Black History Month.
that.
Oh, we should have watched.
Okay.
I watched it
Listen,
already. Anyways,
Black history's everywhere, not US.
yes,
It's a
but it's
separate
part of
process.
US. That's crazy.
I'm
Anyways,
not from here. Listen.
I just thought this is the Jesus version of Friday. You got these two potheads trying to escape this man that's equivalent
Are
of
you spoiling it?
Debo's. I'm saying I already said it's the equivalent. What one more? Spoil? It's been out for years. How you gonna spoil Friday? Everybody's watched Friday.
You know that's not how spoilers
You're
work.
stressing me out. If you haven't watched Friday by now, shame. That's all I gotta say. Anyways, that's literally how I used to remember history. So for these guys, I was like, you guys start off with two men Tokyo drifting throughout the goddamn neighborhood, and then they get jumped. Um, and then it turns out they're drug peddlers, right? And then they go to the club to try to figure out how they can get back the money, But then, oh no, this police brutality, the freaking Romans are the equivalent of
Mm,
it was crazy. This is simplified. I love it. This is literally how I used to learn history. I'm gonna remember this movie. But go continue. I just wanted to say that did a good job.
yeah, I mean, we see that. I mean, next, I mean, I guess we could talk about the damn Romans that they just can't. They were literally like police, like brutality and stuff like that. So, Dilla, explain to the audience how your ancestors were at war in this film.
That is crazy because this is literally in the motherland.
Tell them how you're Roman.
Talking.
Tell them how you're Roman.
I'm not Roman. Who the fuck is Roman? I'm Italian.
You're Italian. Rome is in Italy. They
Listen,
were branded.
listen. At that time,
It's the same
wasn't it?
shit.
I think Rome was
It
like
was
the
big,
entire
but
empire.
still, but Italy now kept Rome, so that's
Capture. I don't think that's historically accurate. I think it was named after.
Google it.
Girl, I no, I do
No,
not.
that's where it was. That was where Rome was, and
Right,
Rome was where Italy is now.
but when it's
Yes,
split
those are
up,
your ancestors.
but like when it's called
Hmm.
Italy, you know what? I don't care. Um,
That's not how it works.
Not you trying to bring up my slave
Like,
roots,
well, it
knowing
was
you're
still done though.
100% Spanish. Talk to all
Slave
of
rule.
the
I'm talking about.
uh huh.
Did you say
Wait,
100%?
when you have family
You
that's
trying to fight?
100% Spanish, when you have
Yeah,
family,
my great great great.
y'all,
You too. That you have family that's 100% fucking Italian too.
yeah,
What about that?
that's what I'm
I'll put in the
saying.
same stuff.
Not you trying to say it like you don't
Well,
have the same exact white
but my ancestors were not highlighted in this film. Yours was. So I'm just trying to be kind and let
girl.
you
That
speak
was
from
Michael
your
X.
ancestors'
Malcolm,
actions.
not Malcolm X.
You
Professor
say
X was in that
Michael.
film. I don't know about the rest. And nah, what had me shook was how he was literally holding his armor plate like how cops today hold it. Like that scene. What was it? He was talking to Clarence and he was holding it. I got like flashbacks. I was like, oh, this is what oh
Flashbacks?
like I don't
Do you
know.
mean generational trauma? What do you mean
Generational trauma.
flashbacks?
The news. The news. I'm
Flashbacks from
traumatized.
the news. Okay, okay.
Listen, that was crazy. But clever. But crazy. And you know what's another thing about this director? How he portrays white people in these films is interesting because so the white people played a more major role in this film, obviously, than in The Harder They Fall. Because in The Harder They Fall, it was like this quick little scene where they went to this town. It was literally called the White Town, and the black people had to rob the bank, and they got out there, and then yada yada yada. But in this film, obviously a bigger role. They were the ones that were prosecuting these black people and literally hung them up on the cross. So I feel like it's funny because if these are the equivalent of the cops into like if we're drawing parallels, if these are the cops of today and that guy he was doing the whole speech about how we know that you're afraid you're not like you're not the big guy, you're afraid of our potential, you know that you need to squander us for to make you guys feel powerful and yada yada yada.
Hmm.
Message um
Yeah.
it was really cool. Like I don't know, 33 AD, not a lot's changed, huh? And then from now, and well obviously, you know, this was fictionalized, but you know,
You don't know what like I noticed? It kind of threw me off, but then I liked it. Like by the end of the film, I was like I wasn't unsure, but then it kind of grew on me. Did you notice that almost every single black person in this film, they all had different accents,
I did notice
like black
that.
accents. I was like, they ain't no freaking way because they're all in the same little town. I'm like, this some are speaking like with like African
African,
American
yeah,
accents. Some are like straight up Jamaican. I was like, that ain't from there. And then like, some were like Ghanaian accents, Nigerian accents. I was
yup.
like, oh.
I did notice
I
that.
was like, wait a minute. minute.
I noticed that when Anna Diop's character started speaking, because she had like this thick Singalese, Singalese, Ghanaian. What was her accent? It was African, nice, deep accent. I'm like, wait a minute, what's happening here? But no, I came to
The
appreciate
white
it.
people in no, the white people in the like listening to this like what they had different accents. Like, what?
That's no, there's no way. Yeah, she's
Maybe
signaling,
let us know,
Sinhalese.
white people, if you're listening to
If
this.
you
Let us know if
noticed,
you noticed if they had different act. You could be listening to like 5 years from now. Let us know
like,
if you noticed
you know what? No
that
shame,
if they
but
had different
also
accents.
they did,
If you didn't, that's okay.
but they did.
Yeah.
Like, no, that was funny. I thought it was like a quirk of the film, which actually that brings me
Mhm.
to another thing that goes with this director. This director, one thing about I love about The Harder They Fall is the soundtrack. I thought that soundtrack was amazing. I listen to it to
Mhm.
this day. Like I just listen to songs
Mhm.
off of it. And
Mhm.
this he's not afraid to use songs that obviously are not from that time period. So like The Harder They Fall, there's a lot of
Mhm.
rap
Or necessarily like for the genre.
for
Like yeah.
exactly. There's like reggaeton.
Yeah, I noticed that
And
too.
you notice it in this film. I wonder, did that throw you out of the scene? Or how did it feel?
No, I think I loved it because I noticed it like as soon as it came out, like the music started, I was like, oh, and then I didn't know like it was the same director at the time, but
Mm,
like it reminded me, like, oh shit, like and I just knew like from the opening scene, like oh, this is gonna be good ass like soundtrack for this movie,
from the
but yeah, and
opening.
it was consistent,
Yeah.
yeah, so it was like
I
okay,
love
but
that
and
about him.
one song that stood out, I forgot, it was like at the very beginning, it was like it was kind of like hip hop, but it was like talking about like Jesus and stuff like that. I was like, you know what? That was on point.
Not Let It
I was like,
Shine. Throw a shout out, Let It Shine.
yeah.
Truth.
I mean, you know, Jay Z is one of the producers to this film.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh,
Because he was also, I think he was one of the producers in Harder They Fall too. I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
how did he fall? I don't.
Yeah. But I thought so.
Was he?
Or maybe he just worked on the soundtrack.
I don't. I know he
Yeah,
produced.
he
What was
produced.
it?
Yeah.
The How Did He Fall
Yeah.
too. Look at Jay Z
With the
making
same
movies.
director. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
The music straight from the jump, like, I heard like a little like bossa nova. This one felt a little more like yeah, like bossa nova esque, like samba. I don't know the words for it. But no, I love that about his films, and I love how he's unafraid to do so, because that was a lot of criticism that The Harder They Fall got, that the music was obviously not of that time period, and therefore it brought people out of the scene. But no, I
Mhm.
love how he's not afraid to do it. I love how he's like unabashedly like, no, this is what the scene needs. This is what the energy I want to give to this scene is, and I'm just gonna do it, and it works. It works
Mhm.
so good. I think of like there's a scene where they were in the club and they were dancing. It was right before the Romans came and took them, and they were like
Mm.
doing their little cha cha slides or whatever. Um, and like I can't remember what was playing, but it was perfect, and it was obviously not of that time period. Like I even think they had the instruments to make that beat at that time period.
Well, what do you mean you
Girl,
think?
I don't know what they had. Like, they're black. They can make beats anywhere, anytime. That's besides the point.
Not that time.
Allegedly. But it just worked so perfectly. And I loved it. And it was just, mwah. That was a really nice, like, it was a really pretty scene, in my opinion. Even though it was a random dance number, like, I did not expect a dance number, but I liked it. I thought it was cute. I thought it was cute. Oh, one more thing. It kind of branches off of this in the question of, was it disturbing to you when you saw it? The transitions in this film. There was a lot of transitions where like it it was like a straight up like fade to black, fade back in, or it was like a literal like they weren't like hidden. I know in a lot of films they try to hide transitions and like make it seem more seamless, but this director,
Mhm.
he does a lot of like physical things. Like when the people were high, they literally had them spinning in the air. When the guy,
We're not talking about that yet.
okay, that's actually okay. Okay, sorry. Fine. More specifically, there was a couple times where, say, that dance scene, for example, the camera zoomed in and it got, I forget what it's
Mhm.
called, vinaigrette, vinaigrette. It's like where the rest of the screen blackens and then it's just like a circle and it's just facing on the character. Like think of Looney Tunes when,
Okay, yes, yes. I know exactly. I remember. Yeah.
okay,
I think that was good. I'm not gonna lie, and I think it's interesting now that you're bringing it up. I did not notice anything. Like when I was
oh,
watching the film, it never like disrupted me or took me out. Like everything just like faded together like amazingly for me.
really?
Um yeah, so it never was like, oh, like I was like, oh, this is weird or anything. It was like, okay, this is like I feel like it transitioned perfectly, like the choices for that.
Because
Do you not agree?
at first it was
You
really
think it's
jarring
shit,
for
don't
no
you?
no 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 listen at first at first it was really jarring to me because I could notice it wasn't like smooth or anything, but then I
Mm,
thought about the
mhm,
actual transitions and I feel like it's genius because the way it did so felt like you were turning pages in a book, obviously the book being the Book of
mm,
Clarence. And like what I'm talking about is
mhm,
that transition, when I'm talking about where it was like a circle, it literally felt like that was like a photo in a book, like the books that have pictures of historical figures on it. That felt like it was like one of them, and I'm reading the pages and I'm looking at the picture. It felt like a history book, or that's at least how I interpreted it. I feel like that was a very conscious decision in using these elements to make it feel less like, or obviously we're watching a movie, but less like a film and more like a direct to book creation. I don't know how to describe it. I really don't know how to describe it, but I think that was the purpose, like making it feel like these transitions were the equivalent of you turning pages on a book. And I just thought it was really cool. Tell me if you think the same. When you watch this movie or watch it again, which go support the directors and the actors, if you felt like these transitions did as I said, like acted as pages turning, let me know. Let me know if I'm onto something or if I'm just looking way too into this. But you didn't notice it, which I feel like is also a no harm, no foul thing. It's just like a creative directive choice if it was just that in itself. But I'm gonna stick with my theory. I think it was. And good on him. Very creative. Long rant short. Let's go back to the plot. Sorry. We were talking about the Romans. F the Romans, by the way.
mhm. Ooh, not your ancestor. Anyways,
F them. That's
um,
not the hit. I didn't get. Girl, don't. See how. You got me out of breath. Go ahead.
I want to talk about like maybe like back to your point, like the cinematography of the movie.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
I was gonna bring it up. I got upset when you brought it up.
Oh.
The floating
Oh.
people. I think that was amazing, and like the interactions with like these things, like whenever he had an idea and the
Mm-hmm.
light bulb popped up, and other people could see, like, oh, you have an idea, or like that one time, like he literally read the light bulb, was like,
Mm-hmm.
like I was like, oh my gosh, this is great.
I,
It was so like silly, fun, like
literal
I loved it.
literal gags are always the best to
And
me.
it was like, oh, it's like nothing. It's like it's just visual and like it's
Mm-hmm.
perfect. It's like okay, it works,
Mm-hmm.
and it never took me out of the illusion because like okay, I would say it was because like at that point we didn't know like there was actual magic in that world, but then like the contrast of like the theoretical like things that are happening versus like the actual magic and miracles that are actually happening in the film like later on.
Mm-hmm.
I was like it didn't like take away from that. Like looking back, I'm like, oh, like that could have been a mess. It could have been like
That's
what,
true.
like hard headed.
Yeah,
But yeah, yeah.
you did good with that. And like I love how we consistently saw that it was Clarence who kept getting these ideas. And like at first we're like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, it's because he's the troublemaker. Of course he's coming up with ideas. But at the end, did you notice how he was on the cross and he was like, we don't need we don't need was it we don't need something. We need enlightenment. Was it we don't need knowledge, we need enlightenment? Or it was something we don't I didn't write it down. We don't need something, we need enlightenment. And then at the end of the film, the very last shot of the film is him having a light bulb and he takes it down and he looks at it. And that was the enlightenment. He was literally enlightened, like the light bulb enlightened. I
Yeah.
thought that was so like that just brings back, and it was rule of threes. It happened three times in the film, and this last one was like the revelation, and that was like
Mhm.
again a really clever visual gag that worked really well.
Mhm.
And I think the first enlightenment happened, or maybe it was the second one. I think it was the second one when he was high, like when he was like literally floating.
No, it was the first
That was the
one.
first one. So you know,
Yeah.
go stoners, get that enlightenment.
As they should. Listen, it was great. I mean, and everyone just floating and like the way they just walked in and like because you didn't know what the fuck was happening and we just like saw them like walk in because they denied that man like money or whatever. You see them walking in, you see people just spinning in the air. It's like, oh, what?
Like, girl,
It I loved it. I
is
was like,
Jesus
oh my
already
gosh.
there? Like, no, yeah.
Like, woo, you got to fly, you got to fly. Like, okay, bet, preach.
Hmm.
I mean, mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, yeah, that was fun. And then at that point, let me see. Did they already free? What was his name? Bar Barbados? What was that man's name? Do you remember this?
Barabbas.
Yes, yes. Did they already free him at that point or no?
I have no idea.
'Cause I don't think he was there.
He was not freed.
Okay.
No, he was not because he got the idea to become a messiah, and then he went to like the people like, "Hey, can you join?" And they were like, "You gotta go free them slaves first," and then he went to free him.
Judas is a trifling hoe. He
But
will
then
always be a trifling hoe. He was wrong for that. What did he do that got him? Yeah.
nothing, literally.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't know. Okay, but no, I love that character. Barabbas.
Mm.
He was amazing. The joke when you know
Oh,
no okay
I never called people out of their name. Is it that one?
like I never use like bad words or derogatory terms. How dare I? And then he was like, I'm a fake being Messiah. I laughed so hard. I haven't like audibly had a reaction like when watching films like for a while, and that
Really?
prompted one. I was like, yeah, I was like, ah.
Like, damn. Immediate take back.
That was amazing.
That was
Like,
funny.
yo,
Hmm.
y'all out here breaking people. That was perfectly set up, and it was great. No, yeah. I also. Oh, sorry. Say it.
No, it was about that character, but it's a little later on.
Yeah, that's okay.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe it was for historical accuracy purposes, but the more I'm looking it up, the more it seems like it's not historically accurate, which is okay.
No,
Well, girl,
Clarence.
again,
Clarence never existed
okay.
in
Well,
the
you know,
Bible. I mean, there were some Bible names and stuff like Jesus, Mary, like
right.
like Judas. Like yes, but not everyone was.
Well, I believe it now. No, I'm kidding. Um, he said, "Don't." Okay, sorry. No. So yeah, I don't get why he ran away. He literally could have bodied all of those Roman soldiers. And with the big ass crowd that was there, he was literally immune to the spears that was going through him. I don't know. That
Hmm.
scene was really awkward to me.
It must have still hurt. He was clearly still in
Right. But
pain.
he very
Like,
much could have
damn.
at least killed a couple of those Roman people. Cuz he
Yeah,
slapped him.
but
He slapped him and
the
slapped him
more,
back. Like
yeah,
morality, he
I
don't give
kind
a
of.
care. He did not
Mhm.
care. That man did not. At the very end, he was
Well,
still about to fight until Clarence was like, "No, don't do it."
keep in mind, if like it would have escalated, they would have sent like a whole army to like kill all of them. Keep in mind that, like not everyone has the strength that he has. They would have all been clapped.
Listen,
So it was like,
except for the greater
I
good.
mean, like I get it. Yeah, I mean, I kind of get it, especially with his character because he very much cares like about the people and shit.
Right.
So yeah, I
I
was like,
just
okay,
think
I
like
guess.
the manpower equivalent to what was happening. He couldn't turn any
Hmm.
corner. He kept going in a straight. There was no corners to turn while he was throwing the. No, no, no. Listen. Um,
Yeah, I mean, it was like a hallway, but then yes, yeah.
he couldn't climb. You're right. You're right. You're right. Semantics.
Can you imagine, girl?
No, it's just, and then also when he was freed from slavery, why didn't the other slaves rebel? It was one dude. Like, there's some things that I was just
I agree
like,
with that one.
right, because like they're like, he was like, I'll give you your freedom if you kill these two men. If they could kill two men, what stops them from killing the owner? And the owner is
I
teaching them
thought
how to, yeah,
he should have like, okay, fine, do it fairly, like, okay, like, yeah, but like when he got Barabbas like under him, he should have been like, okay, now kill him, and then
right.
everyone would have. I thought we were like, okay,
You know that's your
he
strongest
would have done it
warrior.
probably.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that didn't make sense to me.
So
Him
yeah,
running like I even okay. No retaliation against the Romans does not make sense to me. There was an
I
entire
mean,
crowd.
he did kill one of them.
He did kill one of them, but even like just to let Clarence also run away. Like I don't know. At that point, I guess Clarence was not completely. He was kind of reformed, like he was changed a little bit, but that was also
Yeah,
before he started walking on water. So like
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that's a bit of a plot hole for me there, logically
Yeah, that's
wise.
fine. I do want to talk about, and this is like a running gag that happened throughout the film, and I loved it
Mm.
so much. How much Clarence was getting smacked.
But
Nearly every
everybody,
single scene, someone's like, like out of nowhere to like,
everybody and their mama
everything.
was hitting that
Yeah,
man.
literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mary, like out of nowhere, Mary,
And she kept going. He's
looking
like,
for the
ow, ow.
insinuating. No, because he was always getting smacked. Like almost everyone in that movie smacked that man at
Mhm.
some point. It was so funny. I loved it. It was out of nowhere. Like he was just speaking it. Like everything was focused on him. He was just speaking. Like going into like a monologue. All you see is like someone saying like. It was amazing.
Yo.
I was like,
He,
yeah,
they live by
yeah,
the
yeah.
rule you talk shit, you
Inspiration.
get hit. And clearly, Clarence did not understand because every single. And then, do you remember the scene?
Everyone is insane.
I found it hilarious. The scene.
In his
Baptism, I
baptism,
was just about to. That got a laugh
that
out of
was
me.
so fucking.
Because,
Because that was the first like time we saw that, I think, and it
was
was
it.
so hard. Like,
Not only did he slap him, when he held
damn.
him under, and his friend in the back was like, yes, yes. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. And then the preacher, he was like, "You want me to slap you too?" And he's like, "Oh." He cut
He's like,
off.
what are you gonna do?
What you
It was like
said?
a whole thing. It was so
That
funny.
was it's so short, but that was so like so
Mhm.
real.
It was so
He
good.
was like, "You gonna
It's
slap me too?"
so good.
He walked into the water, about to fight this minister trying to baptize people. That was
Like, you
iconic.
could get it too.
You
Come
could
on.
get it.
It was so funny.
Oh
Oh, yeah. Poor Clara.
yeah.
Everyone's smacking him. Like he should have like a fucking sign saying "slap me,"
Honestly, he could get
because
paid
at this
for it.
point,
Start charging
I
people.
mean, he did. Technically, I mean, the actor did. He was like, "Okay, how much? Gonna be? Okay, yeah, smack me." I would too for Shaq. You know
I
what?
would too for a check. Well, yeah, I would too for a check.
Like, okay, smack me.
Yeah.
Sure. But yeah, let's see.
But going forward, blah blah, the slaves are freed, or one slave is freed, and then he pretends to be the Messiah. Is that the next order of events?
I mean, do we go by an order?
We don't, but I'm
Listen,
trying to.
yes, he does pretend to. He does, yeah. I mean, he should. I mean, I would too for a check, I guess.
If it
The
was
heck.
that
I mean,
easy, like, dang. By the way, what are they paying for? Are they just like, yes, we're gonna support you and give you like
girl, that's what churches do.
that? I'm asking the same question. What? Well, churches they have like a building to fix and like to run and stuff.
Hmm.
This is just one dude, allegedly.
I mean,
But
they always they got donations. I mean, the people don't ask questions. They be like, "Here's my money," even though we clearly saw that Jesus could just make more money. He's like, "Oh no, here's my money." I don't know. That's what the priests be doing, and it's working out for them.
I guess also in 33 AD,
Yo,
go off.
mm, they always did it. It was always for money.
It's true.
He was the first true priest.
He was the dang.
The Messiah. No, he was the first true priest. Getting money,
Mm.
getting rich, not believing in it, but pretending that they do, and then getting money and be like,
I
OG.
definitely would too for a check. I'm not even gonna lie.
We're pastors now. Well, we can't no more. It's out on the internet, but
You're right. Mm.
I don't think we would have. You're gonna
No,
sit there and read the whole
conscious
Bible.
because he turned his new leaf. He after getting all the money, he didn't even bail himself out. He turned a new leaf. He was like,
Did not.
I can't do this to the people.
I would not give that because he like yeah he wants to free the slaves, but he also would like keep the chains like to the damn slave owner.
Right,
He could just go ahead and buy more. Like what?
right. Where's the?
Come on now, that's not the
It
way.
was not.
Bro was like, here you go. Bro was supporting addiction at that point.
And also,
Like
if
here
we're
you
really
go.
talking about it, he owed the dude money. He took his horses, he took his
Right,
chariot, and he took his drugs. And so he gave none of that back. Like, he's not even the
like
bad guy. At that point, you took his money. Like, none of that money he made back went towards that guy. No wonder he got his gang to beat your ass.
clearly he had like right, yeah, because we know like the gang guy like he wasn't necessarily like bad.
Right. And he
I mean,
actually, like, he supported him at the end.
Clarence was the bad one, clearly, but
Yeah.
yeah. So it's like, like I understood that. I was like, yeah, no, like you're gonna buy all these slaves and then give the slave owner like more money. Like here, you could keep the rest.
Mm.
And but
It was supposedly like a good
damn.
act, but girl, and then he's like, don't let them know it was me, girl."
See, this is why we're not going to heaven. I guess
What do
that's
you
okay.
mean? Listen, we're thinking logically here. Giving money to a slave owner so they could earn more slaves. Come on, come on.
In Black History Month too.
In
Anyways, oh,
no, but yeah, it was that, and then going. I just don't understand. If you teach a slave how to fight, wasn't that like Slave 101? Don't teach them how to fight back so they can continue to be a slave.
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Girl,
Listen,
I,
I don't know. We need to ask Benedict what his family.
teach us the family trade. No,
Mm.
uh, but anyways, gets the money, blah 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 blah. He doesn't give it back. He frees the slaves. He becomes this big messiah. And then they have the club scene where it was really cute and they danced and he was with this girl. And then yeah, the Romans show up because Judas did this scene, this is jumping. But the scene the famous Judas, wait, not the famous Jesus and his 13 disciples painting. That
Yeah.
was
Oh,
a
that was such a good. I was like,
that was a
oh,
good sequence.
I love it. But I just love it. Like in art in general, I just love it when people do that. Like whenever people are like, there's some. I think Ariana Grande did it for one of her concerts for like when she did "Goddess and Woman." and they were like on stage and like they did like that, and it was like a bunch of women like dancers and stuff like that. I was like, oh
Like
my god! Like
recreating
every
art.
time someone does it, yeah. So
Oh,
every time someone does like that scene like that, and it's like smooth and shit, I was like, I love. I'm a sucker for it. Every single time I'm like,
I
I get
I get the
like
reference.
I don't know why. Yeah, but every time, but like yes, there's many references. Like oh yeah, but like for that one, like I love that reference for some reason. It's
Mm.
like whenever people do, I'm like you ate that
You
one.
you scrumdiddly yum yum,
Mhm.
but you know Judas is somewhere around there. That scene was funny too because how they like framed it.
The bread, like
Jesus was like, the man who eats Mary's bread is the traitor among us. And then you see Judas
it's Mary,
struggling.
not his mama Mary, but Mary,
Right?
who made the bread. And he's like, oh, and he was like, oh,
How
she
we
can't
been like
cook.
that?
That's something like that.
Judas was trying so hard not to do it, but he was getting compelled to do it. And he's
Yes.
like, I don't even like Mary's cooking. It's not me, y'all. It's not me. He eats it. He's like, it's the gravy. It's that damn gravy. How black is it? Like that's so like, girl. The bread is trash, but that gravy bust. I know he wanted to say it too. I know he wanted to say that shit's busting. And then like the cutoff,
I mean,
everyone was
it
about to
was.
grab him because they realized he was the traitor. And then he's like, "Whoa, well, wait now." And then they just
What happened? Hold on.
that was like okay. So historical, so moments like that.
Girl, this whole movie was not historically or biblically
What do
accurate.
you say
That's
then?
it.
Like based, biblically based,
It
based
was a story and it was an adaptation of that story. It was
adaptation.
not based on it. Yeah, it was pretty much like an adaptation, like make it your own. Like you have this story and then you're gonna completely make your own.
Mm.
It was nothing like not I wouldn't say historically accurate,
That's what I'm saying.
but
Cause
nothing was biblically accurate
okay,
from what we know. Like yeah.
biblically
I mean
adapted.
some names, maybe that Jesus was Mary's son and
That's the
the daddy wasn't the daddy. I mean,
mm.
just stuff like that. Like, okay, sure, but like in general, like it wasn't necessarily like
Listen, Judas was
straight
there.
up like okay,
White Jesus was there.
yeah.
Uh,
Jeez. It was fun. It was a fun spin. It was a black ass spin on that
which
movie.
was nice.
On like that, it was nice. Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
Which brings me back to
Hmm.
the point I said earlier. This is literally at least the first book, or did they labeled it by
Hmm.
books or did they label it by chapters? I can't remember.
They labeled it by
Okay,
books.
so that first book was literally just Friday the movie in 33 AD, and I loved it. It felt so because everything from the jumping to
Hmm.
the Tokyo drifting, it was just like what's happening to the
Hmm.
salon, to the black girls in the salon. I loved it.
Hmm.
Book
Yeah.
two was like the meat, I guess, because it was like the new Messiah.
Hmm.
Book three, I thought was the best visually because it had that scene we were just
Hmm.
talking about, the 13 Apostles scene. It had the walk on
Yeah.
water scene. That was pretty good.
Oh yeah, I was like,
That
"Ooh,
was
look
pretty
at you
good.
go off
Uh
eating."
huh.
And then like what everyone tried to like, "Oh, get him." And everyone just kept
Falling in
falling
the
inside the
water.
water like, yeah.
Yes. And then Professor X was like,
Okay.
I was going to save you, but now I got to kill you. Girl.
Now he's like, "Oh, you're actually related to Jesus?" Oh no. No,
Which does
I'm
that make
sorry. I'm
sense?
sorry. That makes no fucking sense.
But
I mean, it did to
that's a
them.
historically,
Go off.
well, it's not historically accurate, but that's like a
That's
thing people did in
technically what
history.
happened.
Like,
Yeah.
people see that there's consequences for doing bad stuff to certain people, and they're like, you know what? We're just going to kill you just because we're scared. How does that? So like that's this whole.
Mhm.
So like that's why I never understood the Salem witch trials or like anything like that. Cause they're if you think they're witches, why do you think you can? Uh,
Well, okay,
no.
I'm not gonna lie. So no, I'm gonna say this too, and this is going too political, I think, but in general, I think throughout history and even now, I'm not gonna go into now because that gets very political, and I'm not doing that.
Okay. Okay.
Um, However, like throughout history, is it's just they know is bad, and I'm pretty sure, I believe that these people know it's bad, but they're doing it and they're justifying it to like fool other people. However, like they know is like they know what they're doing. Like example, like for the witch things, they knew that like they only did it to like suppress women and stuff like that. Like it wasn't like, oh, they actually believe their wishes. They're like, well, we're in
Mm.
control, and we don't want you to be in control,
Okay, yeah.
which because oh, you're doing progression in medicine, but like, oh no, but Jesus, like,
But
let's not do science.
yeah, okay.
Pray to God, don't do science. And then like that, throughout the history, there's like a bunch of examples like, okay, this could happen. Even nowadays, like there's people like that. Like,
You're right.
do
Yeah.
you think a certain political party believes half the shit they say? No, because they're not that dumb.
Hmm.
But they're saying it because they get to, and they get away with it
Yeah. You're right. You're 100% right
because
with that.
clearly they know better.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But okay, so I guess it's more
Um.
in like fiction then. The fact that you see that there's a powerful
Yeah.
being and
Yeah.
you still fuck with them. Like, what is the
I
logic?
mean, biblically, technically, I don't know like the characters, but I know like the Roman, like them wearing red and stuff like that. They're usually portrayed like in other like religious films, the devil. Like they're literally like Satan, like
Okay.
Satan's with them. So like that's technically how like I took of it, at least from like my religious background and
Okay.
my knowledge is in like other movies. Usually they're portrayed as that, and like they 100% know, and they're influenced by that. So it's like we don't, you just don't want this because
Hmm. Aren't Romans
Satan
like
agreed and stuff like that.
aren't there some movies where Romans are the good guys though? Like I'm thinking of
No, I
really?
don't think so. I mean,
It
because they
was
were always in like an oppression, or they're technically like Jewish. That like, no, no Jesus or something
huh.
like that. I don't know. You know what? I don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. So let's just move on.
Okay. Okay. We're not claiming anything
Hmm,
here. Let us know if there are some movies with
right. Hypothetical.
hypothetical.
We're talking our asses.
You're right.
It's called a
A rant.
rant,
I was
okay?
just about to
We're keeping
say,
it real from what we
yeah.
know.
Fine. Moving on.
Okay.
So where are we at? We're at the scene where he walks on water, and the other Romans come and they
Yeah.
fall through. Good scene. And this was all in the third book.
Yeah.
Really that, and then the 13
Mhm.
airpods. Adidas?
Yeah.
No. Sitting on the
I kind of
table
want to speak about, well, I want to bring it like to the ending. However, I want to check in with you, like if there's anything else that you
before
want to
then.
talk about before we, yeah, because I think it makes sense to like talk about the ending and then wrap it up. But I
Hmm.
really want to talk about that ending.
Yeah, I think I'm there too. Because after that, what
Okay,
they just go to the
great.
crucifixing.
Yeah, so I want to talk about the scene. Like he got caught, whatever. I know they have like their little like apologies, like the two twins, like when they're in the cave.
Hmm.
Okay. I want to talk about the cross, like him walking with the cross. Like that was like when everyone like tried to help him, especially like the little kid. I was like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
I was
I
like,
was in my
even though he was
feels.
like a grown ass man somehow, but and we saw like everyone just like washing like in despair, like
Even the people who
and then
hated
like once we
him.
got,
Yeah.
and we saw sis, what's his name, the girlie that played his mom, Amina, I think was the mother. And she was like crying, like, "Oh my god, they always take out babies. They always take out babies." Like,
Real.
yeah.
The historical
Hmm.
parallels to now, at least. Which, again, just a really good parallel to modern day.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And then I guess we'll move on to the actual crucifixion scenes. I really want to speak about the conversation that they were having while hanged up on the cross with Clarence and then fake Jesus. Um,
Uh,
that was like, yeah, like I think that deserves some conversation.
mm.
Mhm.
Girl, start it. You wanted to point it out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. So that whole thing, like, I think it was fake Jesus. He was like, um, the God's only mistake was creating humans.
Ah.
Um, and then it just created. I was like, ooh,
Is that
real.
real?
Not gonna lie. I mean, a certain kind of human, but I think no, just kidding, just kidding. But I mean, and like that whole back and forth, like with especially like with Clarence, like we're like, oh no,
They know not what they do.
no,
Uh,
yeah, they just don't. A lot of us just make mistakes because like we're humans and we just make mistakes, and unfortunately, sometimes we don't understand like our mistakes like until it's too late.
mm-hmm.
Which is true because he was saying like fake Jesus was like I've literally like humans literally like taking the clothes off my back. It's like that
I
was me.
was one. Literally, we saw
Literally, I was
it.
one of
We saw it in
the
the
yeah.
film. Funny callback. Yeah,
He was like, "Oh, give me
give
that
me that
shit."
shit.
Yeah. So I was like, that was like okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like there's like a slight message because like I definitely like resent with like okay God's only mistake was creating people and it's like okay preach, but also like people make mistakes like we have to like reflect that even us like I've done fuck shit in the past, you've definitely done fuck shit in the past,
You
you know.
saying definitely? Like,
So
damn. Yeah. I thought it was interesting. Letting Jesus, fake Jesus, be the one to like not like humanity, and then Clarence be the one to like try to see the good in humanity. Um,
yeah,
and like because I feel like it just
I mean
goes against
it's
the savior
literally
trope.
I think both are valid views.
Mm-hmm.
Like clearly, fake Jesus, like the hand that was there was shit, and like when something was going up, crucifixion,
Immediately,
you know,
immediately.
immediately. So because he literally had like infinite money, literally, and he was like, okay, I'm better. I'm white now again. So he was like, yay,
White privilege.
but
Aw.
like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But which I think and is fair because I think like what it took away is like people get dealt different hands and they're gonna have different opinions and we see like that both opinions are not necessarily wrong because that's what they believe, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like a message like you have to kind of understand low key like what other people's are coming from at the end of the day because we're all humans.
Mm.
I don't believe it applies to everyone because fuck some
Fuck some
people,
people. I was just about to say.
clearly.
I
No, no excuse, but
I think I said this back in the color purple when we did that rant review. Shout out, go
mhm.
check out that after you're done with this. Um, I personally, I am not a very forgiving person, and like obviously, I'm not gonna put myself in Clarence's shoes because he is a made up person. But also thinking about it, like it, trying to say to forgive these people who are actively doing you wrong in the moment that they are doing you wrong. I like I get it. It's supposed to be like benevolent and like like seeing yourself on a higher plane, seeing yourself beyond the misjustice that's happening to you at that moment. But how can you do that when it's literally happening to you in the moment? Does that make sense? Like you're still valid to feeling hurt.
well, I think the difference, yes, I think the difference is by that point he fully believed in God. You know,
Mm,
it was a 100% okay. I know this is whatever they said about God is true, and I know for a fact like I'm probably gonna go to heaven. So like by that point, I would too like you know what, God bless you, peace out. I'll see you when I see you,
you know what?
because like by that point he fully believed in that man. You know, so like that kind of makes sense. Like
I
okay,
disagree. I don't think he believed in God until that final light bulb came off in the end of the film. Because I think that symbolizes he
really,
was enlightened. I think at that point, when he was getting crucified, he thought this
I
was
disagree.
okay.
Hmm.
But I think when he was being crucified, I thought he thought that this was all the payback and justice that he got for being just wrong, for like
Mm,
wronging people,
yeah.
taking their money. I feel like at that moment he didn't actually truly, truly, truly believe that there was a God.
Mm.
Because after he walked on water, he was like, this is amazing, but he was still denying that he was the Messiah. He was like, but I'm
Well,
not him.
yes.
I swear, this is not.
Yeah.
For,
So
that's
the
what my
way I
opinion
saw
is.
that,
Hmm.
yeah, and I understand. The way I saw that was mainly like he was what, because he wasn't. He made it up. He wasn't necessarily a messiah.
Right,
But at that point, because he was confused, and we saw that in his face, like he was confused, and he kept saying like, "But I'm not the messiah," because he wasn't. He did lie to those people, and he was
right.
just trying to clear up like, "I did lie to y'all, even though like whatever's happening, I'm still like I lied to y'all. I'm not the messiah, whatever."
Hmm.
I think we saw that he fully did believe in God. It was a specific scene. It was when they were both in. It was both twins, and then he came up to him and he was like, "Oh, now you believe?" And then he literally, Clarence literally turned to him. He's like, "I don't believe. I know." You
Mm.
know. So he did say
He
that.
did
So
say
that's what I'm saying.
that.
Like he did believe in that in God by that point.
You're right. You're right. I take that back. Because
Yeah.
I don't know. Then what was the enlightenment at the end of the film? Because
I don't know. I think it was just I don't know, but because like, even like when he's talking to white Jesus or fake Jesus,
mm,
because he was saying like, well, have faith in people, or like he was completely like turned like.
okay.
So by that point, he fully was like, okay, I know God is real, and I'm going there because clearly he had my bag, he made me walk on water, So like,
You
might
know
as
what? That
well.
makes
So
more
well,
sense for him to
bye
say, like,
y'all.
you know what we're doing. Like, no, not they know not what they're doing because he's then talking to.
Yeah.
I thought he was at first. I
Hmm.
thought he was talking to white fake Jesus. But okay, yeah, that makes sense then. And then that also makes sense because I guess as he's being strung up and like people are coming towards him and he knows that he's a not people that the guy he was like okay spear him on top of this which horrible just awful way to die like he was already gonna like dehydrate starve and probably I don't know get
Hmm.
diseases to death but
Where is it? Did it right in the dick or something? It was either that. It was either like the dick or it was like in the
it
gut. And
had
I, in my head, this is so fucked up. When I was watching the movie, in my head, I was like, if it was like the gut, I just like imagine like peeling the spear back and everything. I was literally like, ooh, like out of the gut. I was like, follow. I don't know
oh
why I
my
said.
gosh
That's
what
literally what I was thinking. Like, ooh. I don't know. My mind works in a serious
it
way.
sure do
I was
because
like, follow. I was like, ooh.
that's crazy to hear.
Hmm. But also, whenever they said this is something else that was happening with me, like in my mind, I have extreme severe ADHD, y'all. So don't blame me. Whenever they said Judas in the movie, my mind was immediately like,
Lady
"And
Gaga.
I love to Judas." Every single time it just started playing in my head, I was like, "Oh, frick, here we go again."
Oh,
I'm like Judas, Judas,
oh,
like
Judas.
while watching the movie, and my head would not turn off. It was like the whole, like
That happened twice for me. I'm not gonna lie. That happened twice, and I remember it too.
as you should.
Judah, Judah. Ooh,
I mean,
yeah.
listen, yeah.
Culture moments affecting daily lives. That's crazy.
well,
But
that's how you know it was about. Mm.
but no, that's and then yeah, that takes us to the end of the film where he gets awoken by Black Jesus.
Mhm.
Yes. Um, he's reawoken and he's enlightened, for whatever that
Mhm.
means, I
Mhm.
guess. Now,
Yeah,
and then credits roll.
as they should. I mean, yeah. Well, good for them. I mean, and by the end of the film, if he got like rewoken, he was like an actual messiah by that point because
That's true.
now he could like be running on some water.
That's true.
So,
Good for
so
him.
yeah, power, yay, yeah, for sure. So yeah, it was good. So that brings us to the end. Is there anything else you would like to mention?
I'd like to get right into the ratings because I feel like we went through the whole
Okay.
movie, and overall, I really like the movie. I love the
What's your
director.
rating?
Let me see.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give it.
Out of 10.
I'm gonna give it a 8.5.
An 8?
8.5.
Okay, look at you.
8.5. Why you say it like that? What do you give it?
Do you want to explain your
Fine,
score
fine, fine, fine.
first? Now you're going straight to me.
So,
Damn.
a lot of the things that I liked about this film was from me liking the director. Like I said, Heart of the Fall is literally
Mhm.
my favorite film, but I didn't give that film a 10. Let me be clear. That film for me is a 9.5. Really good. But yeah, so for this film, a lot of it was like the concepts behind the director's brain that I could like re repoint out,
Mhm.
transfigure, I guess, into this film, which is the directing, the casting, love the casting, the transitions, love the transitions, the music, love the music, um, and then things specific about this film, which I'm starting to love, is another thing about this director that I feel like it maybe it's a trend that's going to continue, is how he does period pieces with black people starring in it. So obviously this is
Mhm.
more what do you call this period? The Jesus period?
Well, I think okay. I think this is okay. Beyonce plug. I think
Uh-huh.
it's like I like to compare it to what Beyonce's doing now. You know, like with
The
her 3-part
Renaissance.
series, she's doing the reclaiming black music.
Mm.
Like that's like the whole thing that people have been talking about. Oh, she's reclaiming country. She's reclaiming like house music, whatever.
Mm.
And then she's gonna be reclaiming like rock next. I think that's like the talk in town. That's what she's gonna be doing next. So I think
Queen.
like this director's kind of doing that. He's reclaiming cowboys. Cowboys were black.
Yep.
You know, let's not say he's doing historical but with black people. No, 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 no.
He's
He's
not making it up.
reclaiming
He yeah,
with black. The same thing with Jesus, Black Jesus. He's proclaiming that. So
exactly.
I don't see it as he's doing historical pieces about black people. He's proclaiming that shit, just like Beyonce's doing that with music. I think that's what the directors do. JC, he's a producer for literally
Yep.
this director constantly, so it's like it makes sense. It's literally JC's like producing these films, and then Beyonce's doing these albums. I think it's them. They're the power couple right
Power
now.
plays. Big
Literally, it
moves.
is.
Good for them
Does
too.
it make sense though?
Yeah.
Like, or is it like me pulling from my ass?
No, no. I feel like they're working hand in hand. One's in the music business, one's in the even this film and their music too. It's yeah. I think that's you said it really nicely,
It's
and
literally
I
just
agree.
reclaiming. Yeah, so they're just out here reclaiming shit
So I
for
hope
the
that's a
black
trend that
community.
continues. I want to see what
Yeah.
other periods are there. I don't know. I listen. I don't know.
Yeah.
What else is there in life? Mesopotamians. I don't. Anyways, no. First Cowboys, then the Jesus era. I really like that. I want to see more.
Maybe it might be like original, like back, like even more before, like because remember, like everyone came from Africa. It might be like very periodic people, cow like cruise stones, like yeah. I think it should be.
Cavemen.
We're saying it here now. Yeah, cavemen. We're saying it here now. If someone comes up, if they damn come up, it's our idea. We need money for this.
That's crazy.
Watch it be a caveman movie, like literally cavemen, but all black. Because you know how the media be like, "Oh, cavemen's white," and it's always like white people.
The
It's gonna be cavemen's black
Neanderthals.
Africa. In Africa, like everyone's like Africa, cavemen, black people. I think
That's the
that's a
next.
good one actually.
Okay.
Hit us
That's his
up.
prediction right
It's
here.
on film.
Uh huh.
It's on film. Time stamp it.
Candy camera.
Do it. I'll sue you. Our idea.
Oh,
So JC,
we coming
listen,
for
we're
you.
both in the
We're watching.
industry. We're both
Hmm.
educated in the industry. We got credentials, so just hit us up. We'll be the assistants or whatever. Yeah, for sure.
Uh,
Please
that's insane. But I hope
get in there.
I'm just happy to see what his next film is. I really am.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
8.5. Because the only things that bring it a little bit down for me is just like the plot holes that I
Hmm.
said. Which
Plot host. Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Yeah, I understand
it's
that.
not even plot
Hmm.
holes. It's just like character decisions that feel like they don't
Yeah.
add up to me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. What do you give it?
Okay. So, everyone, write this down. Mark your calendars. This is the first time in history where I am giving a higher score than Jayla is.
Ah,
I am giving this film a 9 out of
ah.
10.
What's your reasoning?
Wow. First time
That
ever.
is
I
literally.
think.
Now go off.
As I should. Listen. I feel like I love this movie. I think the shots were beautiful. The illustrations were amazing. The cast, besides that one hiccup, cast was flawless. The music perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was great. And for me, and we talked a little bit about this. For me, I in my head at least, I understood like the plot hole. It didn't have plot holes for me.
Mm.
So you said like, okay, these things kind of didn't make sense to you, as like we talked a little bit about that, and like I justified those things like in my head as I was watching it. So for me, that's not something that's holding it back. So that's why it's a 9 instead of like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do understand why people like might have those, but for me, I didn't.
It wasn't a problem.
I'm not with those plot holes. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I don't have those in my head. Everything was justified, even if it's far fetched. So that's why it's a 9 for me.
Mm. Everything came together.
Hmm. Yeah.
Are you going to see this film again?
Hmm. I would.
You would? Yeah.
I would. Yeah. I would. I think we should have whatever's the next movie. I think there's gonna be 3 movies. Like Beyonce's gonna have 3 albums. So
Oh,
whatever the next movie is gonna be,
just add it onto the list.
not really. We don't know, but
It probably
we'll
will.
have like a little. We'll have a little watch party. We'll watch like the movies, and we're gonna go see, listen to the albums, and just have like a little dance party after. Like,
Eh.
yeah, go off, Carter family,
But it's
whatever.
so weird because, and I think this also happened with The Harder They Fall. But I remember there was
Mhm.
like only 1 week where I remember seeing a very hard, like a very heavy push for marketing for this movie, and then it just
Yeah,
disappeared.
I agree. Yeah,
Like,
I wanted to also bring that up too,
yeah,
which I feel so bad because so the film, it was so flawless. It was amazing. It was perfect. It cost $40 million to make this film.
okay,
Understandably,
yeah. The set
understandably,
alone, yeah.
girl, that was
We
in.
didn't even talk about that. The
Ooh,
set was really good.
yeah, it was.
Like,
Yeah, on point.
hmm,
Nothing felt fake. Nothing like if those green screens, I would never clock.
yeah,
Never. And clearly, there were green
there
screens
were.
probably,
Yeah,
but
there's.
like never clock.
Hmm.
Hmm. But guess how much this movie made?
How much?
That's the exact number. I think it made like at least like the first weekend in the box office, it was like $3 million. And overall, I think it made like $6 million for the forty
Oh
million dollar budget.
no.
Heartbreaking, and it's literally because people didn't go to the movie theaters, and this is where like, okay, I love the movie theater experience in general, but like I also think that y'all go and support these films,
Yeah.
go to the movie theater. Like, yeah, we love streaming, blah blah blah, and yeah, wait till stuff are streaming, but like there's some stuff. This is one of those films that I would have loved to be in a movie theater for.
Hmm.
Like it's just not the same, and I know other people like differ with movie theater experiences. Some people like absolutely hate it.
Hmm.
um,
Listen.
but for me, like, it's just, yeah, support these film, like that's how we keep getting these type of films. Like, go out and support at least the ones that you really like and resonate with. Like, go and support those films. You don't have to go and watch every single film that you're watching. Some is fine too, be like, I don't care about this one that much, I'll wait for it to go streaming.
Hmm.
But if like something that you want to support, an artist that you want to support, you go and watch that, because that's how they make money off the film, and that's how they say, oh, this actor's like getting me like money, like, box office money, like these people are turning revenue. That's how the directors keep making movies and stuff. So like for this film, like I'm very sad that it flopped the way it
Yeah.
did. However, like from what we watched, like, oh my god, no.
It should not have. Yeah.
So
And
so yeah, so it's very tragic.
it is. And like you saying, I'm one of those people who don't like to I feel like me, I would rather my first watch be by myself, and then if I liked it enough, cuz I'm a person that if I like a film, I'll keep watching it. I don't need like a gap period or anything. And then
Not like that. I do hate watching movies like back to back.
if I
Awful.
like it, I that's just my opinion.
I
But
mean, I'd rewatch it, but not soon.
not soon. I like catching
I
things.
had a few moments.
You need a rest, which
Yeah,
is fine.
a few moments.
But like, and it's not even in theaters anymore. And like I feel like I had a really
Okay.
short runtime, but also it just disappeared because I knew. So it came out in January, right? Like 13th,
Hmm.
January 13th, around there. And I remember
Hmm.
like it was literally the week leading up to it,
I
and then
mean,
gone.
well, I mean, like for me, like I did watch the ads on YouTube and stuff. I know that
Oh,
this was something that we were talked about it of like watching it for the podcast already. So was I wasn't gonna do a big jump, especially with the film schedule that we already had.
mm-hmm.
So I wasn't gonna like go ahead and watch it, but I feel like they did their part on advertising it. But like as soon as like they noticed, like because the first weekend in the box office or that first week, that's what like really matters. Like those
Oh,
are where the big numbers come
that
in.
makes sense.
That's what like the big blow up. It didn't do that, so I think like what were they gonna do? Keep spending money on shit?
Mm,
Like so it was like
on like
I think like
advertisements.
if people yeah, I think like if it would have been successful like at first like in the box office, then yes, they would have kept advertising because you see that a lot with like actual movies that do successfully well. Like they keep advertising, oh, it's like number one and blah blah blah, like you
Mm,
know, and like they advertise it that way. But it's like, well, where we go from here? Like it didn't work. We advertised it, and no one showed up. Like for the first weekend, you know, it'll be like beating a dead horse right now, and like losing money like is very risky.
you're right.
So I understand, like,
Listen, Jay Z got money
because
to
like at the
spend.
end of the day,
I,
yeah, he does, but like also like, like I'm not. So,
yeah, I was just looking at.
I mean, he got kids, you know. That's a lot of money to just like putting out. Like here you go for the people, you
He's
know.
got a whole island. I don't think.
I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, but
But I was
but
just.
still, in general, especially like with production companies and stuff like that, like they're not
Mm,
gonna like push it on stuff. Like the distributor, I think it was like TriStar Pictures. They're not gonna be pushing that shit out like
yeah,
if it was not making them money, you know. Unless just see Ghost and be like, "Yo, this is like $10 million. Here you go. Like, keep pushing this movie." Like, okay, that's different. But like, I doubt he did that. You know.
Edgar, can you look
So
this
yeah.
up real quick? Because I was just thinking. So, like, what was the? Because this is again his second film. So, what did the director's first film make for him to like get that credit, right? And from my research,
Mhm.
it cost 90 million to make.
The harder they fall.
Yes, that's what I'm getting. But it only got eight. I don't even want to say it because it looks so wrong. It's saying 8,000 USD.
Okay. Um. So I don't think they. How much do you say? Like 80 million? I
Yeah,
don't
I
think that's
saw
true.
90 million.
So it says. That's where it says like in HDMI. I think the budget for the film.
Because I get, like, it had some.
Wow. I mean, I guess. Well, that's what a few sources are saying.
But I'm more
That's
worried
weird.
about how
I
much
mean,
they made because I'm literally, it's saying international box
yeah,
office.
they did not. And like it makes sense because like when movies make money, you know those movies and you know they make money because you see
Right.
them like on TikTok and all of that. And these movies did not do that.
You're right.
Like they did not do that. So like it makes sense that they didn't make a lot of money, including like Hardly Fall, which is tragic because these are like amazing fucking
I
movies.
love those.
Like
I love these
very
movies.
much. They're really good movie, and you know I hate Western shit. I hate it.
Yeah. You like The Harder They Fall?
I hate okay, not Western, not Western. This is what I found out from about me. I hate any movies that takes place in any sort of deserts. I hate deserts.
What?
Because I was thinking, I know, but I was thinking it was so it's not necessarily just Western. I hate Westerns because of that. However, like other like space movies, like an example would be like the Star Wars franchise. I could never get into it too much because a lot of their planets that they live in is like desert planets, and I cannot do that.
That sounds like
And
trauma.
I think I came up with this conclusion because of Dune, because I saw like a few TikToks talking about because the second one's coming out,
Oh, Dune?
Zendaya and all that. Yeah, Dune, and people are like, "Oh my god, yes!" And this is like the lore and stuff. Like, No, but then I thought about it. I'm like, if it was like the same plot, but it was like in a forest, I was like, I would probably go and watch that shit. But I know it was like I cannot do like desert. I cannot.
That's trauma right there. I don't know what
Yeah.
it, from what.
So
Maybe ancestors had to walk the deserts. Maybe they had to. I don't know.
that made no sense. There are no deserts in the Dominican
Eh, eh,
or in the
eh.
Caribbean in
Listen,
general. There's
it
no
was
desert in the
when they
Caribbean.
were being transported
Where?
to.
The African
I guess
ancestors? Because I don't
so.
think there's deserts in Europe either. I don't know.
Not
I
Europe.
just cannot do deserts. I think I'm a visual person. I'm a visual person. Like whenever I watch movies, like I focus a lot on the visuals and the colors and whatever.
Huh.
And whenever it's like a desert, like those dry tones, like completely take me out of it. It like I don't know, it just irritates me. Like
Wow.
bland. It feels so bland to me. I think that's a big
That
thing
is so
because
bizarre.
I'm such a visually intrigued person. Like yeah.
Well, I believe it.
Mhm. But yeah, they should have made more money because I even though Harley Fall was Western desert, it was a great movie and no one can take that away from them.
Yeah.
And it sucks that they're not making money. I agree they could do more with advertising, especially like advertising to the right people. There's like different advertising things than just ads. Like advertise that shit. Like think
Right.
of something creative. If you need ideas, hire us for your next movie.
Ting.
We're young, we know people.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, but no, for sure. I think they didn't go as hard in advertising it, but it was up to the people like, yo, go support these movies. But all yeah, they haven't. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's both. Yeah,
So,
it sucks.
message: go watch it. Go stream it somewhere because you can't
Go
watch it
watch
in
these
theaters anymore.
films.
But support.
Must watch.
I
Watch by these films. They're
yeah.
great. They're very good movies. Like
Mm-hmm.
very good. Like this director, like I still have to see more of his work. Like as it comes, he's new, but like he might be like one of the best ones. Like yeah,
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I agree.
So amazing. Yeah, go support. Is there anything else that you would like to talk about,
I
Jayla?
think that's it. I can't wait to look for more of his stuff. But I think that
Oh,
closes the Book
wait
of
for it comes
Clarence.
out so you can look for it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm
Yeah.
anticipating. I'm anticipating his new stuff.
All right, then. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for today. Thank y'all so much for listening to our little ranting review. And yeah, listen to us more. Please support us.
Hmm.
And until next time, we're your host, Edgar.
And Jayla. And if you like this conversation, please go check out some of our other ones and go follow us on Instagram at the BFF Reel. And see you next time. Peace.
Yep.